Back in Burnley.
Back in Burnley.
Back in town. So we ended up King Tut popping.
And he turned around and he says, I won't be here tomorrow. And I thought to myself, you're going to die tonight. Saying, no, I've just done 6 backspins. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because you know what Lee's like, he'll like have a go at anybody.
Yeah.
And I just thought Mission Impossible. I thought, I'm dying for a crap here, I'm going to have to go for one.
Yes, people, how are we doing? Welcome back to the latest episode of Yackaholics. Today's guest is a 3 times world champion b-boy, so breakdancer for those who aren't in the know. He went on tour with the Prodigy. He won Battle of the Year, which is one of the most, famous events in breakdancing, b-boying. He's just an incredible guy. But after his life in b-boying, life threw him a curveball and he ended up in one of the biggest battles that you could imagine after a tragic event, and still come out swinging and still come out as the winner. And he's just a superb guy, and I know you're going to love this story. Very charismatic guy too. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you B-Boy Evo. So, Evo, back in Burnley.
Back in Burnley.
Back in town.
Yeah, been a while.
It has, yeah.
God, I can't remember the last time, we're talking years.
So, yeah, the old b-boying, the old breakdancing.
Yeah.
So going back to your early days dancing.
Yeah.
So I know you were part of Street Machine and all that. And did you tell me that your brother was a breakdancer? Have I got that right?
Well, he wasn't necessarily a breakdancer. What happened was my brother, if it wasn't for him, I probably would never have got into it, because he was into hip hop and soul and funk and everything else. And he used to venture out, and he used to always do mixtapes or record the likes of Chad Jackson that was on, and Stu Allen. So I ended up just listening to his tapes once, and I got really into the music. But he came home once with a blue and white hat with RSC on it. It was obviously when Hey You, the Rocksteady Crew, that tune had come out, and he come in like saying, oh, I've just done 6 backspins. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And because he was my older brother, I obviously looked up to him, and I wanted to do whatever he did.
Yeah.
And then the next thing was, suddenly the influx of breaking was everywhere, wasn't it? It was on the TV and adverts, in music videos and everything.
Yeah.
And I just thought to myself, I could do that, because I could do flips and things like that anyway.
Yeah.
And I started hanging about with another young lad called Vincent Cavanagh from where I live, and we started dabbling and having a little go at doing bits, backspins and stuff, just on a field across from where I lived. And from then on, we travelled to various precincts in our area, met up with other people who were doing it, and it just went from then.
Yeah, started to see crews developing in different areas.
Yeah, you got to know the scene basically, and Stedroy Walbrook from Partington, who was an older black guy from where I lived, well respected, he was already doing it and been involved, and he saw me and Vinny one day practicing on the grass, and he come over and he was like, come with me, I'll take you lads. And he took us to Altrincham and to Sale and Stretford, where we met these crews, and that was it. And you watched and learned, and I was a quick learner then. Mm-hmm. I could watch somebody, I could see something and emulate it quite quick, and plus put my own little twist on it. And that was it. From then on, it was...
Yeah.
That's
lots of
that's
crews,
the beginning.
Yeah, lots of crews around Manchester.
Yeah.
Stuff obviously Broken Glass are, probably biggest rivals to Street Machine and stuff.
Well, early on, when I got to the sort of heights, while I was still in school, there was a lad in school called Paul Grant, who they called Baby, who claimed he was in Broken Glass.
Right.
But he wasn't on the same level as me. And he used to always come to me and say, teach me how to do one of them, because stuff like 1990s had just come out then, and I was doing them.
Right.
So in the playground, I was showing him how to do them.
Okay.
But I was in other crews called Reflex Rockers as well, before Street Machine, who were well respected. Because there was like Ultimate Street Rockers, Reflex Rockers, Street Machine and Broken Glass in Manchester. And I used to go to Seymour Park Youth Club in Old Trafford in Manchester. And I was only, God, I'm not tall now, but I was a fucking midget then. So I used to get the bus to Trafford Park, go to Seymour Park Youth Club. I'd walk in, and I was the only white guy in there. It was just full of black guys.
Wow.
But they all just accepted me.
Yeah.
And there was a guy called Andrew Hermit who basically he had the fastest windmills going, and he looked after me. He took me in. They could obviously see I had potential, and they want to feed that potential, and they helped me then. And I just went from them to Ultimate Street Rockers. And Ultimate Street Rockers used to train in a place called Home Hope in near Moss Side. And it was basically an old hall, and there was a big shutter going in between two rooms. And Ultimate Street Rockers were on one side of the room, and on the other side of the shutter, Street Machine were training. And I used to get the bus back with Justin O'Shea.
Right.
Because he used to get off in Urmston, and because the bus went through to Urmston and then to Partington where I live. So Justin used to always be on the bus, and we'd always chat and that. And he basically got me in Street Machine, because they must have seen, and they were recruiting all the time, new bodies.
Yeah.
The next up and coming person. And me and Justin basically gave me a Street Machine top. And I went home that night, and when I got home, the leaders of Ultimate Street Rockers, Ian Grant and another guy, were sat there in the house with my mum, and I walked in with a Street Machine top on. I'd obviously been recruited by Street Machine and left Ultimate Street Rockers, and they just got up and left.
Oh no!
Like, sorry lads.
You're in trouble.
Yeah, but that was it, and that's when I started with Street Machine and onwards with them.
Yeah. So with Jason and stuff, I know you held Jason Orange in high regard as a breaker. I know I know you really liked all of them, but when I speak to people from Street Machine, they often speak very highly of yourself. And Jason has been.
Yeah, well, Jason was in the early days when the building that's in the documentary that you filmed, the Civic, Stretford Civic, when the battles used to go on in there, and you'd walk in and it was all dingy, but as soon as it went off and you went to the circle, you'd see these guys in blue, and Jason was just so smooth. Everything just flowed perfectly with him, and that's where you think, right, I need to get a bit more flavour in my movement.
Yeah, style, like
yeah,
working on the style. Yeah, some people it's very natural, isn't it, from a very early age. Yeah.
That's it. The likes of Dizzy Lee, he he had a natural style because he had a little bend in his leg and stuff when he did stuff. And it was just his body shape. But he obviously could dance as well, but he had his own natural style.
I loved it when I was asking him about the UK champs in '96.
Yeah.
And I was asking Lee about that, saying like, you know, when was the last time you danced before that? And it's just like, it was years ago. He said, I didn't even practice for it. He said, I did, but very, very little.
Yeah,
and then just got up and just, you know, to be doing the halos and the babies that he had.
That was just natural instinct.
Natural to him, yeah.
He came and practiced a couple of times with Tim and Tom and me, but nothing major. He just came in and burnt his head a bit by doing stuff and just threw down a little bit. But see, that's one of the things that a lot of people don't realise. Street Machine had loads of different eras of dancers, whereas Lee was in Street Machine and I was in Street Machine. Lee wasn't in Street Machine when I was in Street Machine and vice versa.
Right, wow.
So, and these other versions, like Justin's brother, Craig Sempress, is supposed to have been Street Machine, but he was never in it when I was in it.
Yeah.
It was really
So it's
early.
like a generation thing, isn't it? But that's good. You know, that's good.
Yeah, exactly. But me and Lee got together, I'm talking years and years ago, when we'd both finished dancing. Lee got in touch with me to battle two members of Street Machine, Rhino and Noonie.
Yeah.
What was the club called now? It was the Gallery in Manchester, when the DJs were like, what's that tune now? Voodoo Ray.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he used to DJ there.
Right.
And Street Machine, or Noonie and Rhino used to throw down a bit in the club. And Lee wanted me and him to go and battle them.
Right, well.
So we trained a bit in his mum's house on this white rug in his house. I remember coming round and we just used to do a little bit. We didn't even train any routines or anything. We just said, yeah, we'll do a bit and go and battle him.
Yeah, because Noonie had a good rap as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, and Rhino, but I remember hearing a lot about Noonie as well.
Yeah, Noonie was quality. He had his own little style as well.
Mm-hmm.
But we got there to battle him, and it was a proper beef thing. You know, we'll get out. I was just going along with the flow with Lee, because you know what Lee's like. He'll like have a go at anybody.
Yeah.
But the next thing you know, Neverson walked up to us both and just went like that. No, as if you don't battle your own crew.
Right.
And that's it. It didn't happen.
Right. Well, so Neverson's the black guy with the dreads. Is that right?
That's it. Yeah,
Neverson. Yeah, I think I've met him. I've met him once briefly.
Yeah.
But I've heard a lot about him, obviously.
Yeah, he's a top, nice.
Good lad.
Neverson was like the daddy of the crew.
Yeah.
It was between him and Neil. They looked after everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I still speak to Neil here and there. He's a character, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, Neil. I like him more.
Neverson was one of the ones that had one of the fastest turtles in Manchester back in the day,
Right.
against Terry Weedall, who was in Ultimate Street Rockers with me.
Right.
And even to the point where they'd fight each other over it. In Adam and Eve's, there was a night, I wasn't actually there, but the story just flooded Manchester, where they both turned up at Adam and Eve's, this club in Cholton, and started to battle. And it kicked off, and Neverson used to just wear loads of sovereigns and stuff, and he just took all his rings off, threw them on the floor, and they just went at each other. And you know what these turtle guys are like? They got powerful arms, and they were just bam, 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 just smacking fuck out of each other on the dance floor. But that was how intense the sort of competition was back then.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some funny footage. I remember you saying, when we did the documentary, you were saying about you used to pick people up and swing them round in a circle to clear a space.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Like, get out the way, we're dancing.
Yeah, it was mainly a leather jacket. They just, the the guys, whoever, some big bloke would just take the leather jacket off and just swing it round, and everybody had just moved back.
Yeah. I bet a leather jacket of there to our speed as well.
Yeah.
So after Street Machine and stuff, which came first? Was it? I can never remember. Was it Floor Freaks, or was you dancing with Throwdown Rockers before Floor Freaks, or was it?
Yeah.
You was.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. I met Archie and Brian after it shows in the documentary. When we went to Livingston, Brian Mullen put, I think it was called Under Pressure.
Under Pressure Jam,
Jam there, and he brought Storm and Swift and a few other Europeans over. And I met Brian and Archie there. And we ended up getting together. Then me, Brian and Archie got invited to Sweden through via, who was it via now? Elvis,
right,
from Sweden.
Yeah.
And we met Nico.
Not the real Elvis.
No. Elvis lives in Malmo. I can't remember the Elvis.
I've met Elvis. I know
he was in a Ghost Crew, I think, or something like that. But we got on really well with them, with Nico, Stamis, and Freeze. And then we went a couple of times to Sweden, and I got invited once to Greece by Nico and Stamis.
Because that's where they originate from, like their Greek origin.
Yeah. We went over there. I mean, I went on my own once, and we judged an event in an amphitheatre, and Nico got us all these blue shirts, and we looked quite cool. And they were asking me, because they didn't have the power that I had, so they asked me would I join them. There was one time we travelled with the Caliphs, me, Tim and Tom. We drove from Manchester to Paris to watch the Jam on the Groove show.
Yeah.
And we ended up going into this little studio and practicing with Wiggles, Ken Swift and Flowmaster and all that. And it was all full of mirrors. And I was just throwing down, but I was quite nervous when you're practicing because you got all these heads round you, your peers sort of thing. But Ken Swift shouted over when I did some quick move, and it surprised me. He said, "Yo, save some shit for us." And I was just like, "Oh, fucking hell." I just thought, wow.
Yeah, you weren't expecting to hear that.
No. But it was a shock, but in a way, when it sort of settled in, it was a compliment, a massive compliment.
Yeah, of course, Ken. I mean, yeah, he's a god, isn't he? So you touched on Battle of the Year there as well. So yeah, you won Battle of the Year. You've won that. And you went. I think your main rival there, probably Speedy, wasn't it? He was the.
Well, that's just how it. Yeah, it fell in the competition because his crew against mine, and his crew against Always Rocking Tough, and he came on subsequently against me at times, and obviously he was quite popular over there because he was Storm's younger brother. Yeah. But we still won.
Yeah, you've won it. Yeah. So so you've won Battle of the Year.
Yeah.
You've won UK World Championships 3 times. You've won and you went on tour with the Prodigy.
Yeah. Still nobody's beat 3 times the UK champs.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if.
No, he's not.
Morris Smart.
No, he's not. They put it on there and it got edited.
Oh, did it? Right. Yeah. Did he not do it?
No, he's not done it. No, nobody's won consecutively.
Oh, consecutive.
Nobody's won it 3 times. No.
Right. Well, yeah, it's the consecutive thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. So that record still stands.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know you had a lot of fun on the Prodigy tour.
Yeah. Oh, that was crackers. Yeah, we were so fortunate and lucky because, funny enough, I changed the music I was listening to around that time when I was training for the UK champs, and I was listening to because I was working with Dizzy Lee. He gave me loads of music, and I started on stuff like the Chemical Brothers and stuff like that, and I ended up buying Guilty. What's it? The Prodigy album now, Music for a Jilted Generation.
Oh yeah.
I ended up buying that, and I got really into it, and Poison and everything.
Banging beats.
And I was training to that at home.
Wow.
And then I think it changed my style of the way I was dancing. I got quite aggressive with moves and stuff, and it changing directions.
Because the Prodigy's music, I can remember Style Elements released a video called, I think it was Bendable Banana Slugs, it was called, a B-boy video, and I'm sure that was Prodigy's Dirt Style Chambers.
Chambers,
yeah, something like that. With Liam had done a mix of tunes and stuff.
Yeah,
and they were training to that.
He did that. Liam did that mix at the end of each performance every night, because we were
on the Prodigy tour.
Yeah, they had on the Prodigy tour. They had various groups on first, like the Foo Fighters and Placebo, and then just before the Prodigy, we came on because Liam wanted to emulate before they came on what he saw at the UK Championships. He wanted to see a battle.
Right.
So that had happened. We'd do our battle. They'd do their performance. Then after that had finished, Liam would come on and do his Dirt Chamber set.
Right, wow.
Which was predominantly sort of hip-hop tracks.
Liam got you for the tour after you'd won the UK champs, right? Is that?
Yeah, what happened was we were backstage when we'd won at the UK champs at Brixton Academy, and Maxim came up to me, and I was like, fucking hell, it clicked who he was. And he said, yo, he said, congratulations and everything. And he had John Fairs, their manager, with him. And he said, listen, he said, we want you to be in a music video. So I was just like, yeah, fucking hell, right, yeah. And he said which one it was. He said, it's Smack My Bitch Up. And he said, are you interested? So I said, yeah. And he said, there's possibly a tour. So I said, all right, nice one. I thought, yeah. So the music video was Smack My Bitch Up. If you've ever seen the original.
No, I've never seen the original.
Well, it got banned.
Right.
The original got banned. It was cocaine and lesbians in it and sex and everything. But they banned it on MTV.
Right.
So that's why they were looking to make it differently. And they brought, God, what's his name now? I can't remember his name. It's the guy that did Madonna's video Frozen.
Right.
He got brought into it. He did Frozen and Come to Daddy video, which is a dead weird, crazy video. And they brought him in and they said, give us your number, we'll get him to call you and discuss the ideas of what he wants. So I said, yeah, cool, man. And I was at my mate's one day and he just rang me out of the blue, this guy. I can't remember his name, to be honest with you. But anyway, he rang me and he's telling me this idea he's got for the video. He says, what it is the way I want it is, it's wolves. And I want you, all these wolves, and they're going down into a train station, a dark, gloomy train station. And the way I pictured it, if you've ever watched any of the Underworld films, it was similar to that.
Yeah.
And he said, you're going down, you change into humans, and that's it, you start battling, and dancing. And I was like, this sounds fucking brilliant, yeah. I was like, this is going to be amazing. So it's going to be dark, dingy, and raining and everything down there. and the tune Smack My Bitch Up would have gone wicked with it. So I just said, yeah. I said, it sounds brilliant. Next thing, I get a phone call saying the original video has been edited and they've allowed it, so we're not going ahead with it anymore. So I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. You know, I was thinking that could have been amazing break, that.
Yeah.
So they said, but listen, we definitely want you to come on this tour with us as a warm-up, but we want a format where it's a battle. So you're going to need to get some other dancers. So I just said, right, fair enough.
So that's how Tim and...
Immediately I thought, Brian and Archie, because they're so funny. I thought, if I want to spend just under a month on tour with somebody who don't want to be around...
You want to be around people
well, I'm going to be drinking, we're going to be having a laugh. So...
Brian
and Archie, that was it. And Brian didn't think he was up to it at the start.
Right.
I mean, I think I asked Dizzy Lee before Tim, but Dizzy Lee was like, no, I'm not fit enough.
Right.
And anyway, then I asked Tim, and that was it.
That was the four of you, wasn't
Yeah.
it? And you had Lacey, was it, DJ?
Yeah, and we had to find a DJ, and James Lacey was around at the time because I'd done some Pepsi advertisement, Pepsi Max, who Lacey had arranged. And I did a photo shoot for Pepsi Max, and there was me, a skateboarder and a BMX guy, and we filmed it in London. And I was breaking on a half pipe, and this photographer was just taking loads of photos saying, go on, need a bit more from you. And I was just dancing constantly until I felt physically sick.
Wow.
And Lacey had to go and get me a bucket. I nearly passed out. And I was throwing, I just remember how he looked after me. I just thought, yeah, James, we'll have to check for you to come on the tour as well. And he was up for it straight away. And Lacey's brother was a builder. And he had loads of contacts with companies and stuff. And he basically got onto every company saying, we've got these lads going on tour with the Prodigy, we can get you promotion for the likes of G-Shock and clothing, Adidas. How it came about was Gary Aspen, who's quite high up in Adidas. He's an ex-dancer, he's an ex-breaker from, I think, is he from, not from, he's from Darwin, I think.
Darwin, is it? Right?
Yeah, Gary. And I got to meet him years ago, and he used to come over to Manchester, and we did a few interviews, I think for Hip Hop Connection magazine and stuff, when we did a night in Manchester. And we just stayed in touch, and he started to become sort of my promoter, Gary Aspen. And he went to London and started working for companies like Diesel and a company called 6876 Clothing. He was basically quite high up in clothing, then got into Adidas. And he got me, I ended up doing, when Stephen Lawrence got killed in Brixton, we did a charity event there in Brixton Brixton Sports Centre, where we went down and Roots Manoeuvre was there emceeing and I was breaking, and it was a full crowd in Brixton Sports Centre, and right in the middle of this basketball court I'd just run on my own, my little self, doing flares and a head spin and stuff. But they loved it, and it was all just for Stephen Lawrence. Everybody that paid in, the funds I think went to something for Stephen Lawrence.
And so, because I always remember you just used to call this lad up and just say, can I have some fresh Adidas gear?
Yeah.
And you get Adidas stuff anytime you wanted.
Yeah, Gary used to, I'd say, listen, I'm doing this or that. And he'd just say, right, yeah, cool. Send me a box full of clothing, including tracksuits for the kids and everything, trainers. But when we we went on the tour, the Prodigy tour. We all were kitted out with complete Adidas from head to foot.
Because when we were dancing Monkey Basket, I think we got sponsored by Tribal for a while. And we used to get like boxes of clothes turn up, and it's a good feeling, isn't it? When you get, you know, I always remember like this box come one time, it had like loads of Eastpak rucksacks in it. And,
well, that's what we had.
And Tribal clothes.
We got sponsored by Eastpak as well on the Prodigy tour, so we all got rucksacks plus Magnum boots.
Right.
Because Lacey was a massive fan of Magnum boots because they were, apparently the FBI wore them and everything. These old school Magnum boots, but they were wicked. We walk around in these Magnum boots.
Wicked. Yeah, man. So you've done dancing as a kid, and then Street Machine, and then you've done, the UK champs. You've done the Prodigy tour. You've won Battle of the Year as well.
On the Prodigy tour as well. We had a couple of the funniest stories where we had our own tour bus, and it was just a convoy of buses, tour buses that went round. We had ours that it was all little bunk beds in it, and at the back there was a couch with the PlayStation, videos, and everything in there. And we just basically, when you'd done your show, you get into there, unless we were staying a couple of nights in a town where we'd stay in a hotel. But we got to a hotel once, and I'd go and get the money off John Fairs every night for the lads to make sure they got paid. So we all had like a wedge of money as well with us. But there was a food truck, so you didn't have to buy food or anything. Wow. And you had passes for every venue that we went to. You could just use all the facilities in the venue. And we'd turn up at sometimes, and there was ice rinks, swimming baths and everything. And we'd go in and we'd be fucking skating around in the ice rink and everything. But we got this swimming pool to ourselves once, me, Archie, Brian and Tim and that, and we got in. And it had one of these slides, like a windy slide, and we all got on it and grabbed each other's legs. And I was at the end of the slide, and you know what it's like, the momentum, because everybody pulling you down, it's like that. And I was fucking flat. I was like,
level back.
Yeah.
Wicked.
But we just took over, and we put these mats in the swimming pool, and we were trying to see who could run across the mats and get to the other side. Just being crazy.
Yeah. Wicked.
We did a show at the GMX once, and we dared who'd come out the tour bus and run up the road naked, and Tim got out and he ran up the road naked.
Tough Tim.
Yeah.
Go on, Tim.
I know. It was crackers.
Yeah.
But we got to a hotel in Kingston once, and we turned up, and we come in, and there was two Chinese prostitutes at the reception straight away, and we'd heard later that it was a bit of a rock and roll hotel.
Right.
And I was like, it stinks in here of diesel. And I was like, I just got paranoid straight away. I said, I reckon they're going to torch the place. And we got upstairs, and I've got the footage somewhere of us all sat down outside the rooms discussing whether we should leave or what.
Because of the threat of arson.
And Lacey was knackered because we'd got him stoned, and he didn't really smoke.
Right.
And he was feeling sick, so he had to lie down in one of the rooms, but the rest of us were saying that, no, we're going, we're not staying here, they're going to torch the place. But then we rung up John, the tour bus driver, who was part local, and just said, John, come and get us, we're not staying here. And we fucked off. Yeah, just left the hotel, slept in the tour bus that night.
Drove past it later and it was just ashes.
Yeah. But
so you went to Japan, didn't you? What?
Yeah, that was, at the time there was promotion from Hooch, was promoting the UK Champs or King of the Beats album, I think it was.
Right.
Plus, that was promoting the UK Champs. So first we went to Iceland, and then, it was Japan, which was crazy.
Just to get the UK Champs name out there, or the album.
They were judging. We ended up going out to Japan and judging a competition of dancers out there, but the same time it was, which we didn't know, was promoting the UK Championships to the Japanese.
Yeah. Is that the double denim clip?
Yeah.
That's the Japan thing, yeah.
But before, the morning of that, sorry, the night before, we went and did that double denim clip. I was rough as fuck. We'd been out, we went out wandering around Japan, around Tokyo, and we ended up in this bar, and it was, because we could hear soul and funk music playing in this place. So we went in, me and Tim, and Hooch was with us, and I didn't know in Japan, we went to the bar, and you don't actually get a drink at the bar, you just go, they give you the bottle, and it's down to your discretion to pay for what you use out of the bottle. Right. So I took a bottle of Southern Comfort, and we went back to this table, and we just started drinking, we got hammered, we did a bit of dancing in this bar. The next day, I got up, and we had to go to this competition. That we were walking through Tokyo, and I was just like, oh fucking hell, I'm rough as fuck, mate. And in Tokyo, in Japan, whereas in Holland there's bicycles that you can just use. In Tokyo there's these umbrella stands with these just umbrellas stuck in like bins, and you're allowed to take one and just use it. And I was like, I'm going to chuck up, mate. I just went over
all over umbrellas?
Yeah, all over the umbrella stand.
Someone just thought
somebody's gone like, whoop. Yeah, but that was it. But by the time we got to the event, I was all right. I think because I'd obviously cleared myself out. But yeah, I got them, threw down, I was fine.
Yeah, just going back to Brian, I want to talk about Brian from Glasgow. You know, because he was on tour with the Prodigy and stuff, but fucking hell, I've had some good laughs with that guy. When we went to Glasgow, we were doing your documentary, weren't we? Yeah.
When I was climbing up the wall with them Spider-Man gloves.
Fucking hell.
I know.
Yeah, just for the cameras, they were Spider-Man gloves that had sound effects, and when you moved, they went.
Yeah, they did the web. Yeah.
So we ended up King Tut popping. Oh, I think it was like three little boys, weren't it, playing with them gloves. I think we were there for like 3 hours just pissing ourselves laughing.
Yeah, they were his sons, Kieran's. Yeah,
our Dave were there as well.
Yeah, we've been drinking and smoking though, haven't we? So we were quite sort of merry at the time. And
God, coming back from Glasgow, we were just steaming, weren't we? Just hanging.
Oh, I remember, and all that footage you tried to film of me with the hot and cold sweats in the service
station. Yeah.
I know.
I bet our kids still got that footage.
I know.
I need to dig that out. Cucumber butties.
Yeah, that wasn't good at all. See, I never used to drink until I met Brian and Archie.
Oh yeah.
They were the ones that started me drinking.
You got corrupted by the Glaswegians.
Yeah.
Go on, yeah.
Yeah, when I used to go there because they first paid for me to go on train just to meet them.
Yeah, you went up about 93, 94, weren't it?
Yeah, and I went and started hanging about with them and just training. And we just clicked. It was just great, the sense of humour.
They're great lads.
Then I started doing teaching in Govan with Jamie and Shelto Mel.
Yeah,
they used to do it, and I started teaching with them.
Yeah.
So I was getting
shout out to Mel.
Yeah, I was getting.
Mel.
Yeah, she's quality, Mel.
Yeah, top class.
Yeah, I've done loads of teaching with her, and we did actually a show where we taught local kids in an area. Mel remembers where it is, but I can't remember. But it was great. It was like an urban play that we did. And I've still got photos of me doing a head spin on top of a half pipe.
Okay.
But we taught kids how to break, and there was BMXers and roller skaters and everything in it, and the whole community was brought in to do it, and we brought the parents of all these people in to show what positivity we brought to the group of kids and what they can do, and it was great.
I'll tell you one of my favourite things. I've seen obviously loads of footage of you, but one of my favourite things of yours is the picture of your head spinning in the like a subway thing. Is that in Sale?
No, that's the Prodigy.
No, there's a picture of you, and you're just in like there's loads of people, but it's like in a street.
It's not where there's the white and black kid in the background, and they're both looking like that.
It might be. You're doing a head spin, and it's like a little underpass.
Yeah, that's
subway thing.
not under pressure. That's Kelso's in Hume.
Oh, is it Hume?
Yeah,
right.
when they were knocking down Hume.
Kelso doing a piece or something.
Yeah. Well, no. Kelso just brought all graffiti artists, and I was the only breaker because Dizzy Lee knew Kelso and Rhino. Rhino was there. It was the last time I saw Rhino and Steve or Shine there alive.
Right. Wow.
And I danced on my own, and the rest of the guys did graffiti round Hume before they knocked it down, and it was crazy because there was travellers there and everything, just fucking riding round in these beat up cars and everything. the footage,
apocalyptic scene.
Yeah, the footage is online somewhere.
Wow, that's crazy.
I'm sure Paul Weston put the footage on not long ago.
Right, I'll have to look at that.
Chubby Grooves was DJing in this truck that was there as well. And yeah, well, it was a good event. It happened twice, that event.
Right. Yeah, and then not so long back, I think you got there was like a hip-hop history thing in Manchester, wasn't there?
The hip-hop archives.
You've done a couple of them where you've been acknowledged for what you did and stuff, so you're very, very ingrained in the culture. Another thing what always cracked me up with you is I remember years back, and you'd posted a song from the musical Grease, and someone had said, fucking hell, Evo, you know, B-boy like you posting this, and you just put a message back saying, battle me. And they were just like, fuck that. And it's just like, exactly, you know, if you can't touch me, I remember it, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably around the time if I sat chilling at night with a few drinks, listening to tunes. If you like something, you like it, don't you?
Exactly, you've got...
It was probably Grease is the Word by Frankie Valli.
Frankie Valli, yeah, that's what...
Which is a tune, and you know, you like what you like. I've always done my own thing anyway. I'm not...
Well, if hip hop's chord is keep it real,
yeah,
and you deny that you like something that you do, then you're not keeping it real.
No,
so if you like that fucking tune, and it was just brilliant. It was just like, well, battle me then, and see how far you get battling me as a b-boy. And they were just like, they just put underneath, no, just like fuck off, some of that.
Shut it down straight away.
Yeah, shut it down. I am me, and if you don't like it, yeah, man. So you've had a really eventful life as a b-boy.
Yeah.
As an athlete, essentially, and you were a good kickboxer as well, as we established in the documentary. And then life settled down a bit. You moved away from b-boying, and I can remember you saying to me that you went through a time where you were just going through the motions and almost trying to force it and trying to win that feeling back that you got from b-boying.
Yeah.
And then eventually you kind of like moved away from it for a big part. And then eventually you ended up in the biggest battle of your life, when I think you told me you was in your garage, was you training weightlifting?
Oh, well, I became disillusioned with the b-boying side. I was at the championships. I think it was a couple of times I can't remember what year it was, but Legs and Africa Islam were hosting, but they would just seem to be taking the piss out of the English crowd, and it was like a stand-up act that we're doing.
Yeah.
And I just thought to myself, I'm getting on here, I'm going to be throwing down, and I'm not really enjoying it anymore now. It's for money.
Yeah.
And I just lost. I decided, and that's when one day I took the mic off Legs and I just said, I'm retiring, that's it. I'm retiring from...
Yeah, from dancing, yeah.
From competing.
Competing, right.
And that was it. And I left that, ended up, what did I do then, God? Yeah, I got married, was I married then? Yeah. Had kids, everything else. And basically life moved on and I drifted away from it. I concentrated on my working career and making money by work, not through relying on it through bits and bats, through dancing here and there.
Yeah, you got a solid income.
And I remarried in 2019 and I'd been working in very difficult jobs at the time where the pressure was quite high and my home life wasn't great as well.
Yeah.
I was under a lot of pressure and subsequently I ended up separating from my estranged wife at the time and moved in to my own place, and then I moved in with my brother where I was living at the time when I was training quite hard as well.
Doing weights.
Physically weight training, yeah. And I was drinking quite heavily.
Right.
But what I'd do is I'd go to work and I'd be stressed out about my marriage not working, that I couldn't fix it. And I'd come home, go straight into the gym and train. But unbeknownst to me, I had inherent high blood pressure.
Right.
So I was very hypertense. And I was in the gym as normal one night. My brother had seen me go into the gym as normal because I'd go in, then he'd go in after me and do a session. And that night I'd gone in the gym. And this gym is just a big cabin next door to my brother's house. And my brother had a girlfriend in Warrington at the time who he's got a daughter with. Right. And he used a motorbike for work, my brother, and he had a car for travelling to his girlfriend's. So he drove off to his girlfriend's and I was training in the gym and he didn't know I'd collapsed because I could feel I was having a good session in the gym and my veins were popping out of my arms. So obviously I was pushing my blood pressure higher than I really needed it to be. And there's a TV in the gym right in front of me. And I think I told myself I'll do one more set of this and then that's it, I'm done. And I don't remember clearly much of it, but I just remember a pop. And it was like, the best way I can describe it is, if you've ever seen The Matrix, where Neo gets unplugged and he goes down the chute, that's what it felt like. Wow. It was like that. And I must have just collapsed.
Yeah.
And
how long was it before they found you?
16 hours on the floor. All I remember was being cold, waking up and being a bit cold, and I obviously couldn't move, but there was a little electric fire in front of me, and I remember rubbing my hand across the grill thinking, is it on?
Right.
Well, anyway, my brother came back in the morning.
16 hours.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Parked his car up, got his motorbike out and went to work, then came back at the night time and the light was still on in the gym. And one of the neighbours said, it's been on all night, that light, you know.
Fuck.
And he come in and I was obviously there, collapsed on the floor. And he said, I was speaking to him at the time. He said I was talking gibberish, but I was talking to him. So he contacted an ambulance, contacted my daughter. Yeah. And next thing, the ambulance turned up. They took me to Salford Royal Hospital, which is a specialist acute stroke victims hospital, where I was there for a week. And they put a DNR in place, basically because I wasn't speaking.
So that's a do not resuscitate.
Yeah, I was basically like I wasn't awake at all.
Yeah, yeah.
And if they would have brought me to, I would have died.
Yeah.
But They kept me there for a week, and they were going to do, because of the brain swelling, they were going to do a craniotomy, but luckily the swelling went down. Craniotomy is where, for those of you that might not know, is where they cut the top of the skull and cut part of the brain out where it's swelling so it doesn't, you know.
So it gives it room to breathe, kind of thing,
But luckily it went down, so I didn't have to have that done.
Wow.
Whereas lots of other stroke survivors haven't been so lucky.
Yeah.
But from then, they transferred me to the long-term stroke ward at Trafford General Hospital. And Dizzy Lee obviously found out about this. And Dizzy Lee had a friend, Vicky Worsley, who was quite high up in the stroke ward.
Right.
And she took care of all my care and everything. So basically, they put me on priority of everything, which was physiotherapy. And I spent 4 months in Trafford General Hospital in a bed.
Which one did I visit you at? I can't remember.
Trafford General Hospital.
That was at the Trafford one, yeah. Because I come through, I think, two or three times in that, as much as I could, really. I think it might have been Lee that messaged me and said you were really poorly.
Yeah. Well, Lee came in every day to visit me. He cycled from work every day to keep my spirits up. Yeah. But in my ward, there was me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
There
was six people in the ward. And the gentleman across from me, Patrick, it was quite I'd say it's mentally disturbed me, the whole experience of it, because Patrick, I remember him one night scratching at his arm because he had a band on his arm, and he had I could hear him mumbling to himself, and a nurse came in at night and told him, "Stop, Patrick," and he said, I could hear Patrick say, the nurse tried to reassure him, saying, "Listen, your family's going to come in and see you tomorrow," and he turned around and he says, I won't be here tomorrow. And I thought to myself, you're going to die tonight. He wanted to die. And this is how horrible it was. And I could hear him gargling at night, during the night. And he was drowning in his own pneumonia. Yeah. Because one of the things with stroke victims, because I was tube fed for about a month while I was there. And on liquids and stuff like that. You couldn't eat anything. And if you cough while you're having a bit of liquid, it goes into your lungs and you can just drown.
Yeah. And he passed that night,
Yeah, well, I woke up in the morning and all the curtains were around his bed, and Kelly, who was his nurse, came in and she sort of looked after me occasionally. I just went like that. I went, is he dead? And she was crying. She just said, yeah, he's gone. Oh. And he died. His brother was in a bed next door. He died while he was there, and he was an ex-boxer.
Wow.
So 2 of them died while I was there.
Depressing environment. Oh. Yeah, I can remember you saying I fucking can't wait to get out of here. But
it was strange. Once I'd got out, it was quite reassuring going back for a checkup and seeing everybody, because there was a certain safeness about being there, because you knew you were being looked after. Yeah. Even though
it had been that depressing place.
Yeah, the stuff like bed baths and all that were horrible.
Yeah.
But they come at night, and the carers didn't give a shit, basically. They were just agency staff from the likes of Ghana and that, and they come in and they didn't care. And because I was a bit of a rebel, I think I tried to escape a couple of times in the early days. But one of the guys, the carers, actually knelt on my neck and kept me down in the bed. And it damaged my neck. And we had a regular meeting on a Thursday with the family and that. And I told them, I said, isn't there video footage or anything? And it wasn't, there's no because CCTV, you're not allowed CCTV in wards. Yeah. I said, listen, and Vicky just said to me, if you want to take it further, just let me know. It just got forgotten. I just thought, I can't be asked. Yeah. But they were bed bathing me once, and there was a sink next to my bed, and it was basically cold water. All they'd come in and wash you with was, you know, the paper towels that you used to get at school.
Yeah.
It was them, and they'd bend you over, and they'd run these paper towels under a cold tap, and then just wash you down, washing your privates, and washing your ass.
Yeah.
And because it was cold water, it wasn't cleaning you properly, and it was because I had a nappy on at the time. I had what we call clinkers.
Clinkers, yeah.
No, because you got hairy ass.
Yeah.
And it was
fucking
there on my ass, and this carer was like, "Oh, it was clean," and it was pulling the hairs, and I was like, "Oh!" And he said, "Oh, it shit like that," and I said, "I know what it is." I said, "Get some scissors or something and cut it." I said, "Leave the tap running for a bit longer, and it'll get warm."
Yeah.
But that was great. Then from that stage, they got me where I could stand and be seated myself. But I remember, because all I wanted them to do was let me go to the toilet on my own, because I was dying to just have a proper dump.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't. They wanted me to have a shit lying down in the bed. And has anybody tried to?
Yeah, if you like, it's the wrong position, isn't it?
Yeah, lying down with one of these little pots underneath you.
Yeah.
I was just like, no. But anyway, one morning, the sides of the bed were down, and this nurse come in, and she was looking after a couple of people and pottering about on the other side of the ward. And I just thought Mission Impossible. I thought, I'm dying for a crap here, I'm going to have to go for one. And the toilet was in the corner past her. Anyway, she got distracted, and I just got out of bed. And if you could picture this, it's like I've told loads of people, but if you could picture Mission Impossible music playing, just like I sneaked past her. Now, my physio told me, I said to him, listen, all I want to do is sometimes just go to the toilet on my own. I said, it's only about 10 steps over there. And he said, listen, 9 out of 10 times you'll probably do it. But he said, on that 10th time, you might fall, and that'll be it. And there were signs everywhere saying, don't stand if you fall. But anyway, I went in the toilet, shut the door, and I did. I fucking fell. I grabbed the...
Oh, shit.
I grabbed the, you know, them little barrier things for people to hang on to at the side of things to help. I grabbed onto that and managed to pull myself up and sit down. I had the best dump ever. Got out, I got up, finished, managed to wipe myself, and I just opened the door a little touch.
Peep through.
Yeah, peep through, could see her still pottering about. I just sneaked behind her and just got back in bed, and I was like, job done.
Wicked.
But it could have been a hell of a lot worse, that.
Yeah, and so since all that, since you got back home, I mean, I think you've progressed.
Yeah.
Massively. I mean, I come to hospital and I seen you when you were in the second hospital.
Yeah.
And you just looked fucking awful. There's no way to put it. You know.
There is.
I'd seen you as the the high level athlete, and then I seen you most vulnerable like that.
Well, that's what I don't think a lot of people believed what was happening.
Yeah.
You know, and they don't believe that you're disabled. You know, when I tell them I'm disabled, they no, you're not.
Because of what you've achieved previously.
But you are.
Yeah.
And I can get by a bit, but I'm a hemiplegic. I'm left side weakness. And for people who watch me walk, I mean, it's true when you see a lot of the signs on toilets saying not every disability is visible.
Yeah.
It's not, I hide it quite well sometimes, but then again, sometimes when I'm fatigued, because all the many symptoms from a stroke or a brain bleed is fatigue, spasticity, where you're
like muscle tone in the company.
What it is the brain signals don't know how to relax.
Yeah.
So they just
tighten the muscles.
They just tighten up. Yeah. So I have that down my left side.
Right.
But I crack on with it. I just try and...
Yeah. Well, you've always had that's why, you know, it's like, you know, saying you've gone from being a battler on a breaking scene and you've had to take up a new kind of battle.
Yeah.
And the way you've progressed to the point where you're driving across to Burnley now,
Yeah.
you know, and you've figured stuff out. And was there a level of like non-acceptance and then a time where you just accepted it?
Yeah. Well, I accept it and get on with it, but there was a period of time where, see, when I got home, I was brought home for the first time, and they brought me out in a wheelchair and got me to the bottom of my mum's path.
Yeah.
And he insisted on walking up the path to go into the house for the first time. Thought, this is it. You know, you're not wheeling me in. I'm going in that way, and I did. I got in, and they were worried they had to get my mum to, you know, like we did earlier, where
You put your hand on my shoulder.
yeah, they had to get my mum to walk up behind me, and my mum was crying. She was like, you know, can't believe this.
Yeah.
And she was panicking in case I fall, because she's a pensioner herself.
Yeah.
But I was like, I've come up and down these stairs a million times in the past, pissed up and everything. So, and I just went up the stairs basically.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for me today, you know, when we're going up my stairs and the bloody banisters, you know, the handrails falling off and stuff like that. But it's like I'm familiar with that language of helping people with disabilities, because I work in disabilities, you know. So for me, it was just very natural to say, how do we do this? You tell me.
Well, it's one thing. I'm still, because I've always been a proud person.
Yeah, I know.
I don't like asking anybody for anything.
Yeah.
It got to a certain point when I had a carer coming round to my mum's, and I found it degrading. It was just a young girl, and they had to I had to teach them how to put an arm. You have to put one arm in first because it doesn't work. And one time they sent 3 carers round, 3 girls, and they're all stood in the bathroom watching me take a shower. I just said, listen, I don't need all 3 is here, I'm all right.
Yeah.
You can get going. So we cancelled the carers.
Right.
I just got on with it on my own after that.
Yeah.
And I was getting physiotherapy daily. And I got sick of thinking about, because I constantly think about my hand keeping it open like that, because I don't want to be one who's like this.
Yeah.
I got to a point where, before I was going to my mum's caravan with her for a break, I thought, I've had enough and I'm not going to think about this anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's mentally killing me.
Yeah.
And I had to stop thinking physically about it.
Surrender to it.
Yeah, and just accept what was what.
Yeah.
And that's where I am. I just keep going.
Yeah. And you feel better for surrendering to it. Yeah.
Mentally, there are times when you get down about it, but I just move forward. And you know, I look at people who have not done as well as I have done.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a point where my mum got everybody round to see me in the hospital, friends and everything, because they didn't think I was going to make it.
Yeah.
So it was like, come and see him on his deathbed.
Yeah.
And I've got friends who come and were actually crying while I was there. So
I think, like, I can remember speaking to Dizzy Lee and stuff about it all, and I can remember having the conversation with him saying, like, if anyone's going to get something, you know, out of this, it's Evo, because all he's done all his life is be a battler. He knows the competitive mindset and the way to get into things, and you know, you did come across that point of not resisting what is, accepting it, and then that provides a platform to move forward to where you're at now. And you've done,
I think, because
you've done amazing, man.
I've always been quite a patient person anyway, and mentally strong. And at the time, even though I had high blood pressure, I was physically quite strong, and that's helped me get through it.
Yeah, mental strength.
Mental and physical from then.
Yeah, you've done amazing, mate.
Yeah.
Everyone's just buzzing, you know. I think there were probably a period at the beginning where we were like, fuck, is he going to pull through this?
Oh, yeah.
Because 16 hours. You meant to get someone to hospital straight away
Oh,
after
I know,
a stroke.
yeah.
Within minutes, and you've done 16 hours.
Yeah, it could have been.
Still survived, still got back to driving.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse, but it's been all right.
Yeah. And do you think a part of it is because of the b-boy mentality, the battle?
Yes. I worked hard as a b-boy, as a dancer. I trained my arse off.
Yeah.
And to the point where you get yourself up in the middle of the night because you thought about a move.
Yeah.
And I used to go downstairs. My first wife must have thought I was crazy. I'd go downstairs in my socks and I'd train stuff on the carpet in the living room. I'd move a table and I'd just do moves.
Something,
And I'd be burning my feet on the carpet, but that was all in the aim to get it done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the mentality of a fighter.
Yeah, you've always been a battler for sure.
Yes, man.
Yeah, you've lived a life, so far, fucking hell.
Oh yeah, definitely, and it ain't over yet.
Exactly. Do you know? I can remember there were times at the hospital where I would come in to see you, and I'd see your mum in the corridors, and we'd have a chat to your mum. And I knew your mum a little bit already from coming to yours. But in them times, you know, it was like we even. You know, she often like leaves me a like on my posts on Facebook and drops me a message here and there and stuff like that. And you know, she was saying at that time as well, even though stuff were tough, you were
it was horrible for my mum.
But she believed in you through all that.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for my mum, because up until one point, just before my stroke, me and my strange wife were sort of trying to work things out. But it wasn't happening. And my strange wife came into hospital a few times to see me, and she agreed that I was going to come home to her, and which would have made more sense because she's been a carer herself, and my mum was a pensioner. But luckily, anyway, she backed out right at the last minute because the animosity she said she received off my family while she was there. Because obviously my family blamed her a little bit for the tension that was going on. But anyway, subsequently, in the weekly meetings, I just mentioned to my mum, can I come home to you? And luckily my eldest daughter is a carer, has worked as a manager in a care home, so she knows what she's doing. So I've had my daughter and my mum to look after me. Yeah. Which I don't know what I'd have done without them.
Yeah, well, your mum's she's a very proud mum, isn't she?
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and
that's where I probably get a lot of the fighter from as well, in my mum.
Yeah, definitely. I've got a lot of respect for your mum. I think she's fucking great, and like I say, I built up a further friendship with her at hospital and spoke to her and stuff, and we had some conversations on corridors and stuff.
Oh, no, she's got a lot of time for you,
Yeah, but in what they call it, in my life, my mum's, we hate like my rock.
Yeah.
You know, we'd be fucked, we hate them, wouldn't we?
Yeah. You're always there, child.
Yeah. And no disrespect to your ex-wife kind of thing, but a strange wife, but who better than your mum?
Well, exactly, yeah.
You know, so yeah.
You can't beat having real family around.
Yeah, that's it, man. So yeah, I'm so buzzing that you've got to where you're at, and even, you know, I was excited today knowing that you were coming over.
Yeah.
Because for me, man, you know, I got onto your stuff probably mid-90s.
Yeah.
Started seeing footage of you. And you just instantly then, I think all my friends on B-boy scene know that you're my favourite B-boy.
Yeah.
You know, one of my favourites. Definitely, you know, number one. With a couple of others, Kenny.
Yeah.
I've got to have Kenny up there. You're my hero, but my respect for you has been furthered even more. I don't know if I can say that. It's gone even further because of the battle you've been in with your stroke and how you've...
Respect is mutual, mate. Always has been.
But just how you've come past that and kept battling and you keep going on. You've gone through a period of acceptance and you're just getting stronger and stronger.
Yeah. And
I love it, mate. And yeah, man.
It's having good mates around you as well, like yourself. We've known each other quite a long time now, and
man. You're
valued friend.
You're
know
my
what I mean?
hero, man. You're more than a friend to me. You're my hero, man, and especially after what you've come through. So,
Thanks.
yeah,
Man.
I think keep on keeping on.
Yeah,
keep on being you, man. And yeah, we've all got every faith in you to keep progressing and doing your thing.
Yeah, man. Cool.
I love you very much,
Love
bro.
you too, bro. Yeah.
And nice one. Peace.
Peace.